Well, we get it rolling on the Krueger Show. Hope everybody's having a great day today. It is November the 21st, 10:34 on the West Coast, 1:34 on the East Coast. Welcome to the Krueger Show on YouTube, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Also brought to you by New York-style Italian sausage, Marin Auto Glass, and, of course, our gambling friends, Mojo Fantasy and Underdog Fantasy. Click the link in the description, and they'll match you for your first $100 that you deposit at Mojo Fantasy or Underdog Fantasy. And with us on the line from the Pacific Northwest in advance of Thursday night's Tilt Thanksgiving night in Seattle, the great Dave Softy Mahler, the pride of KJR. What's going on, Dave? How are you, man?
I'm good. Some of that sausage, by the way, sounds good. You want to shoot some of that my way, number one.
Dude, you're not eating anything these days, dude. Look at that face, man. You're lean and mean. How many LBs have you dropped? You're an inspiration to the masses.
I'm down exactly how many years it's been since the Niners have won a Super Bowl.
Wow.
Or 70. Whatever number's bigger, man. But hey, listen, the last time I talked to you, I got pulled over by a cop for doing exactly what I'm doing now, which is a podcast while I'm driving. So last time I got let off. If I get a ticket, I'm billing your ass, man. I'm sending you the bill.
You know what? We're doing all right these days. We'll pay that bill. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Hawks. Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet were sharing running back duties against the Rams. Walker went down. Charbonnet wound up with 15 carries for 47 yards. Is Walker for sure with the oblique out on Thursday night?
Yeah, I got to think he's out on Thursday night, man. I mean, Pete Carroll, it's funny. We've gotten to kind of understand Pete Carrollese a little bit since he's been here.
Right.
And when he uses words like legit to explain an injury, that's not good. All right. That the L word is code for something really bad for Kenny Walker. So if they played on Sunday, maybe he'd have a shot, but I'd be fairly surprised at this point if K9 went. In the game on Thursday, which means Kenny McIntosh, the rookie, is likely going to make his regular season debut along with Zach Charbonnet and DJ Dallas. Now, Larry, let me tell you something, man. Zach Charbonnet is no pushover. I mean, this guy, the kid from UCLA, he's an absolute beast on the ground. So there's a part of me that's bummed out that K9 can't go. I'd rather have K9 than not. But I'm also looking forward to seeing Zach Charbonnet maybe getting 20, 25 carries potentially in this game on Thursday.
Yeah, Charbonnet's a big back, 6'1", 215 pounds, runs hard, almost has 5 yards of carry this year. How have they used Charbonnet to this point, Dave? I see he only has 53 carries on the year.
Yeah, well, he's spelling K9 as an obvious number 2 guy, but they like to use him as a screen guy as well. You know, the Huskies. I got the Huskies on my mind right now.
That's all right.
The Seahawks don't have a lot of great history in the screen game, and all of a sudden now you're starting to see that kind of pick up a little bit, and Zach Charbonnet's been a big factor in the screen game, man. You get him in space with blockers, and he can take advantage of that big frame. That's one area where Zach Charbonnet really has shined this year is the screen game. So kind of curious to see how much of that they use with him on Thursday if he's the number 1 featured guy.
What's the status of Gino? I know Gino's going to go, but what's he battling with right now, injury wise? Got an
elbow strain in his throwing arm. He sat out the game obviously up until that final drive this weekend against the Rams, and he's obviously the number 1 guy. I mean, there's been a lot of debate in Seattle, Gino Smith versus Drew Lock. I think the question has been answered, Larry. I mean, Gino Smith is the clear number 1 ahead of Drew Lock right now, and maybe it's a little bit unfair to Drew because the guy was getting no snaps in practice, and all of a sudden he's playing in a clutch situation against the Rams on Sunday in LA. But they're a better team with Gino Smith there than they are with Drew Lock. So what kind of effectiveness will he have? How strong is the elbow? We'll find out on Thursday, but I'd be pretty surprised if Gino Smith did not play on Thursday, man.
How good is this Seattle team overall, Dave? I mean, you've got some perspective on this. You've seen the top, the bottom, the Super Bowl champion. They're 6-4. They're 2-3 on the road. They just lost to the Rams by a single point down in LA. How good is this addition of the Hawks?
They're just massively inconsistent on offense. Massively inconsistent. I mean, you go back and look at the first half against the Rams, and they were dominating LA, Larry, in that game, crushing LA in that game. And then all of a sudden they weren't, right? They just completely lost their minds at halftime. And came out and they were conservative. There was no creativity offensively with Shane Waldron. They couldn't move the ball. They couldn't convert on third down. They couldn't stay on the field. And that's been a problem for them all year long. I mean, 6-4 is not terrible, right? They should be 7-3. They should have won the game against the Rams on Sunday, like I said. But 6-4 is not terrible. The problem is if they have any shot of winning the NFC West, they probably have to win this game on Thursday at home, because you lose this game and you're essentially 3 games out behind the Niners with a tiebreaker at 6-5. So this is a monster game for the Hawks division championship hopes on Thursday, man. Monster.
You know, obviously DK Metcalf's a monster, and Charvarius Ward will match up with him. Lockett is a great route runner. What do you think of the rookie from Ohio State? How's he look so far?
He hasn't done much up until last Sunday. Last Sunday was kind of his coming out party, to be honest with you. They've had a problem getting Jackson Smith and Jigba involved in the offense for whatever reason. You know, I thought they would run a lot more crossing routes with him, a lot more sweeps with Jackson Smith and Jigba, maybe even more screens to a guy like that, getting him in space and letting him take off. And it just hasn't been there. I mean, look, it's hard to get targets in this offense when you got 2 running backs in K9 and Zach Charbonnet and 2 great receivers in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. It's going to be hard to get targets for that number 3 guy, which kind of makes you wonder, why did they spend the number 20 pick in the draft on Jackson Smith and Jigba if they're not going to get him involved? So I thought Sunday was kind of a really coming out party again for Jackson Smith and Jigba. But they got to find a way to get this guy more involved in the offense, because he's a playmaker with the ball in his hands, man, big time.
Tell us about the line. I loved Cross as a rookie. Abraham Lucas was really good as a rookie. He's now hurt. So you got Stone Forsythe at right tackle, Phil Haynes at right guard. It's not the right side that you guys were envisioning. The left side, I think, is pretty good, though, with Cross and Damian Lewis, at least on paper. And I like some of these backup guys. Bradford, Oluwatimi, the kid that you guys stole from the Raiders practice squad, McClendon Curtis, I think is a future player. I mean, Schneider knows talent, and he's got some good offensive linemen here. How's this line performed? Where's the weakness?
Well, the weakness right now wasn't right tackle. Jason Peters was signed to replace Abraham Lucas, the 40-year-old. When Abe Lucas got hurt, Abe Lucas hasn't really played since September, Larry. I mean, he had a great rookie year at right tackle out of Wazoo, but he's been banged up. So we'll see if he goes on Thursday. But if he can't go, Jason Peters has played okay in his absence. As a matter of fact, they just signed Jason Peters to a contract for the regular season for the rest of the year. So they like what they've seen in him. Oluwatimi, the backup from Michigan, hasn't played a lot because Evan Brown, who they got from the Lions, actually has kind of nailed down the center spot. And then Charles Cross has been really good at left tackle. The rookie last year, second-year guy, he's been really good at left tackle. So the offensive line, actually, with the injuries that you factor in all year long, has been pretty good. I mean, I thought going into the Lion game in week 3 without Charles Cross and Abe Lucas that the offensive line was in trouble. And they actually won that game and actually played pretty well. So I think you have to give Andy Dickinson and Shane Waldron some credit for the way the offensive line has played, because they really have not been healthy all year long, yet they've been pretty damn good all season.
Before we jump and talk defense, I got to ask you about Michael Penix. We traded some texts on the UW Husky quarterback. I would think that, and you're Mr. UW Husky, so you're the guy to talk to on this. I would think that your show on KJR has got to be blowing up with get Michael Penix, get Michael Penix, get Michael Penix. I really think that they're mocking him too late. I've seen him in the second round. I've seen him in the late first. I said to you, I think he's going top 10. You shot back, and you know more about him than I do. You watch more. You said, no, he's a late first. Dave, tell me what I'm not seeing. Michael Penix, to me, looks like he's got a freaking hose.
Well, he does have a hose. He's got a great arm, but he really relies on great protection. I mean, he can sit in the pocket, and he can perform under pressure. I would go back and encourage you to watch the 50-yard pass to Roma Dunze in the end zone at Michigan State in week 4 when he was backed up, had a 7-step drop into his own end zone, guy in his face, and still found a way to get the ball to Roma Dunze. But overall, the guy just relies on great protection. He never gets hit. He never gets touched, right? He's only been sacked 7 times the entire year this season and barely got touched a year ago. So I'm just really curious about what this guy does in the NFL when he doesn't have great protection. If there's a football team with a ready-made offensive line, right, that can protect Michael Penix, I think that's the exact scenario that Michael Penix has to go to. If you're rebuilding your offensive line, that's not where Michael Penix needs to end up at in the NFL. He's got great receivers. He plays in a phenomenal system. He's got multiple players wide open on every single play. The game against Oregon State, where the numbers weren't that great, you throw it out because it was a driving rainstorm and the weather was terrible. But if you give this guy protection and you get guys open, he's going to find them, right? He's accurate as hell. He's got a laser beam for an arm. I think a lot of people look at arm strength, Larry, and just think about how far a guy can throw a football. How about going to his left side as a left-handed quarterback and then going back across the field the other way and finding a hole the size of a volleyball? That's what Michael Penix can do for you if you give the guy time to set his feet and get the ball off. So I think if again, late first round, if there's a team like Seattle, for example, right? Seattle, who's got a pretty good offensive line. If they're looking to upgrade Gino Smith, Michael Penix would be a perfect fit for Seattle because they already have the offensive line and they already have the receivers in place.
I think. Do you like Caleb Williams more?
I love Caleb Williams in the NFL. I think he's a phenomenal athlete. I think he's one of the top players in college football. I think if USC had any semblance of a defense, he'd be leading the Heisman Trophy conversation right now and looking at back-to-back Heisman winners. He's amazing. He is absolutely amazing. He's a beast to bring down. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's NFL ready right now. If college football and the NFL allowed him to leave after his sophomore year, he would have left last year, and he maybe would have been the number one pick in the draft ahead of Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. That's how much I love this guy. So, yeah, if I was picking between Caleb and Michael at the next level, right now I'm taking Caleb Williams.
And if the Hawks are picking at 22, and if the season ended this second, they would be. Would you take Penix at 22?
I would take him, yeah. I would take him because I think Gino Smith is just a guy, right? I mean, look, Gino Smith, for what he's being asked to do in Seattle, replacing Russell Wilson, he's been fine. I mean, making the playoffs, going 6-4 in his second year. I think that Seahawks fans should be pretty pleased with the job that Gino Smith has done because there was a thought, Larry, when Russell Wilson took off that the Seahawks were going to be terrible for a long time. And that's not happening, mostly because of Pete Carroll and the defense. Obviously, the defense playing better. But Gino Smith has been a calming presence at quarterback for them. He's been asked to do a certain job. He's done it. I don't know if he can take this team to the next level, though, and compete for a Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, I know he can't.
All right, one question before we hit the D. George Kittle the other day said he loves playing in Seattle. He's like, the atmosphere is the best in the league, and he's like, those people hate us. They truly hate us, and we can feel the hatred. Is George right? Is there true hatred from Hawks fans to the 49ers?
Well, first of all, I got news for you, pal. Every fan base in the NFL hates your guts. All right, every fan. It's not just Seattle, and there's a couple reasons why. Number one, because you guys talk and act like you've won when you haven't won a damn thing significant in 30 years. Okay, honestly, you guys act like you're the cock of the walk. You act like you're the Kansas City Chiefs. You act like you're the Eagles right now with the best record in the NFL. Hey, that's great. You guys are phenomenal in the regular season. But Kyle Shanahan, for whatever reason, still has not found a way to win a title. And you act like you're winning championships when you haven't won since Larry was 12 years old, for crying out loud. That's number one. Number two, there's no fan base, I think, that gets on Seahawks nerves like the 49ers do. And vice versa, right? We're the closest in proximity. We're 1,000 miles away. That's the way it should be. So, yes, I think the Seahawks fans can't stand San Francisco, but I also think the entire country can't stand San Francisco either.
The Niners will be wearing their Brock Purdy's favorite uniforms, the throwback all whites. Do you have any intel on what the Hawks will be wearing? Because you guys will bust out neon. You got a bunch of different looks. You have any idea?
No, I don't. I'll find out, though, and get back to you. I can't stand that neon green, dude. It makes me sick. It's like they tell them nuclear waste plant. You ever seen the movie Toxic Avenger back in the day?
Yes.
They look like they're wearing freaking pajamas, man. They look awful. I hate those damn things.
All right, let's talk about the D. Jamal Adams, is he going to go in this game? What's his status, Dave?
Yeah, you know what? I got to be honest with you, man. I'm kind of done with Jamal Adams, right?
Really?
I mean, the Seahawks give up first-round draft picks for the guy. He's always hurt. He's never available. And when he is available, there's nobody in the NFL, Larry, that's better at cleaning up somebody else's tackle than Jamal Adams. He's always there second when it comes to making a play. The Seahawks, in his first year, blitzed him like 100 times, and he had double-digit sacks because he got blitzed 100 times. You blitz anybody 100 times from the safety spot, and that guy's going to get home at least 9 or 10% of the time. He had a play against Sam Howell in the Commander game 2 weeks ago where he blitzed off the edge, had a clear shot at Sam Howell, whiffed on him, and they score a touchdown down the left side, okay? So Jamal Adams likes to talk a lot. He likes to flex a lot. He'll make a play for a conversion on third down and let the world know he's made a tackle. When, oh, by the way, the opponent just got a first down. So there's a lot about Jamal Adams that I don't like. The trade has been a disaster for the Seahawks. They don't need him here in Seattle. They're fine without him, and they should have kept those 2 first-round draft picks, and I was wrong. I thought the day they made the deal was a good deal. I was wrong, and I rue the day they made that trade. I hate it.
You know, they should have listened to Greg Cosell, man. Cosell was telling us for years, he's like, this guy's got a big rep, and he just doesn't fit very many schemes, and there's all kinds of weaknesses in his game. What do you think of the new trade acquisitions? You guys reacquired Frank Clark, who you guys originally drafted, and then of course the former SC Trojan Leonard Williams, who's a really solid interior player. How have those guys fit in thus far?
Yeah, Frank Clark hasn't done much, to be honest with you, man. There's a reason why he was available, right? There's a reason why guys like that are on the open market looking for a team. So he hasn't done a lot so far, but he has had, I think, a little bit of a positive impact on Jaron Reed, the defensive tackle. Jaron Reed's best numbers came when Frank Clark was in Seattle, and then when Frank Clark took off to Kansas City or got traded, Jaron Reed's production kind of dropped. Leonard Williams has been fine in the first couple of games. I mean, obviously, they haven't won, a lot with him so far, but he's only been here for a few weeks, and I think you're seeing why they went after a guy like Leonard Williams. The big addition, or the big impact player, has been Boye Mafe, outside linebacker / defensive end. He's been on a freaking tear for the last month and a half, man. Every single week, this guy is getting after the quarterback. So I don't care if it's Frank Clark. I don't care if it's Leonard Williams or Boye Mafe. They need someone to get after the quarterback, and that guy has been Boye. And don't forget, Uchenna Nwosu, who had a great year a year ago, got signed to a big contract over the offseason. He's out for the year. So they really need Boye Mafe to keep doing what he's doing.
Wow. Yeah, Wosu's a hell of a player. Mafe just comes firing. I loved him at Minnesota, man. What a great athlete he is. He's ridiculous off the edge. How about the timeless one, Bobby Wagner? I mean, 10 more tackles last week against the Rams. How's Bobby Wagner looking at this point in his career?
He looks outstanding. I mean, if you told somebody that Bobby Wagner is 30 years old, there's no way you would have bought that, right? I mean, look, I'm not a gigantic fan of PFF. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Larry, but
me either.
They kind of give you a general guideline, I guess, of how guys are playing, and they had him as the number 1 linebacker in the NFL last year. So was he the best? Probably not. Was he top 10? Probably. Was he top 20? Yeah. So adding a guy like that to complement Jordan Brooks, who also his best years came when Bobby Wagner was on the field with him, he's had a real positive impact on him. So the defense overall has been pretty good, right? I mean, the secondary has been banged up. Devin Witherspoon, you're going to love watching this guy play, man. Animal. He's a small guy, but he packs a serious punch, man. Him and Tariq Woolen at the cornerback spot, they've really kind of locked down those positions. It's probably the best secondary they've had since the LOB. They'll never be the LOB, obviously, because the LOB might be the best position group in the history of the NFL, but they're as good as they've been since then. Quandre Diggs at safety. Julian Love's been a great signing for them as well from the Giants. Even without Jamal Adams, I think their secondary's been pretty good.
Yeah, let's talk about Witherspoon for a second, man. What a pick. What a pick. I mean, that guy, I loved him at Illinois. He looked incredible in the draft process. Schneider had the conviction to take him high. A lot of people thought he went too high. But, man, Witherspoon, he's physical, he's fast, he's instinctive. I mean, he's one of the best young corners to enter the league when you look at all around. Really, maybe in recent memory, I can't think of anybody who's hit the ground running like this kid.
Well, Seahawks fans wanted Jalen Carter at number 5.
Right.
Because they had a clear need at defensive tackle, and Jalen Carter was the best defensive tackle in the draft by far. Seahawks brought him into Seattle for a pre-draft visit, and he totally 1,000% rubbed them the wrong way. It just was not a fit for whatever reason, whether he was cocky, egotistical, didn't want to play here. Maybe that was part of it, right? I happen to think that some guys go through the draft process and they go on visits, and if it's a team they don't want to play for, they'll act like it, right? And I think Jalen Carter kind of did that when he came to Seattle. Philadelphia is a great spot for him when he's playing well. You see him try and pick off the spike last night in the game with Patrick Mahomes. That's amazing. But a lot of fans wanted Jalen Carter, and the Seahawks took Devin Witherspoon, and the first reaction most Seahawks fans had is, who the hell's this guy? Right? Like, a lot of people hadn't heard of him. Like, who the hell watches Illinois football in Seattle? Right. Crying out loud. So it was a surprise. His weight is a little bit of a concern. As long as he's healthy, he plays with a lot of reckless abandon. But at 185, there's a lot of concern this guy's going to get banged up, man, at some point in time. And that is a real factor, I think, for a lot of Seahawks fans. But as long as the guy's been healthy, he's been amazing. He blitzes. He goes after running backs. He goes after wide receivers. He forces fumbles. He picks off passes. He's great in coverage. He does not look like a rookie cornerback to me at all.
No, the guy sacks the quarterback. He blows up running backs. And the guy's really, really good. And you're right. He maybe out hits his body at some point. How about Kobe Bryant? Is Kobe Bryant? I saw they opened the practice window for Kobe Bryant. Does he come back on Thursday?
Yeah, we're not sure yet. We got to find out on that, but they need him back because they are a little thin at corner. They got the two guys that are great when they play, but they're a little thin at corner. I just think for the Seahawks, man, everybody should be healthy for the most part, except for Kenny Walker. Dave Lucas, I don't think he's going to play on Thursday with a short week, but Jason Peters has been fine at right tackle. So outside of those guys, I think the Hawks should be okay.
What are you doing game day, Dave? Do you do pregame or any kind of? Will you be there in the stadium on game day and Thanksgiving?
I'm going to skip the game Thursday. My wife would divorce me if I missed Thanksgiving.
Okay, it's good honesty. That's good honesty.
I've already been divorced once. I don't want to be divorced twice. So I actually gave my tickets away to somebody who could use them on Thursday. I'm going to stay home, watch the game on TV with the family.
Did you give them to a friend or did you turn it into an on-air bit?
No, I gave them to a buddy of mine who hasn't been to a game in a long time. So he's going to bring his son to the game.
One question from the chat here. J49 says, "Hi, Larry. Fire says, is this the guy that Radnich told to shove his trophy up his nose?"
That's right. I told me to shove it up my ass, by the way. And
yeah.
What's Gary doing? Is he still in prison? What's Gary up to?
Gary's retired, man. He's on the beach. He's enjoying his family. He's counting his millions. He's living life in the city and taking care of his kids and just going for walks with his wife and being a sports fan. I'll give Gary credit, man. He always said when we were working together, when I'm done, I'm done. I'm not going to be hanging out in the press box and giving opinions and podcasting and this and that. He's like, when I'm done, I'm done. And he's like, he's gone. I mean, I talked to him this summer on the phone. I owe him a phone call, but man, he's not doing nothing media wise.
Well, good for him. I'm glad that he got out before he started drooling all over himself, man. So good for Gary.
Hey, Dave, promote your show, man, because obviously people listen to show. That's the beauty of radio. Radio used to be local, then it was somewhat regional. Now with iHeart and everything, and everybody's got the smart dash. You can listen to your favorite shows anywhere, anytime. Promote your show, and it's the Softy and Dick show, isn't it?
That's right, Softy and Dick, baby. How about that name? No, you know what? O'clock every day on KJR 93.3 FM in Seattle. You can listen on the iHeart app, by the way, if you want to check that out. A lot of Husky football right now. We're all big Husky fans on the air, and being 11-0, number 5 in the country. We'll find out tonight where they're ranked. I think they should be number 4. I can make an argument to put them at number 3. I think the fact that they're number 5 is bullshit, by the way. I apologize for the language there.
It's YouTube. Swear away.
If you want Husky football, there's not many places in Seattle you can go. Our show is one show that talks a lot of Husky football. So, we got Rick Neuheisel on with us every week. We got Mike on with us every single week. We got the Husky Honks, which is Greg Lewis and Mario Bailey, every single week. Mike Florio is on our show. John Wilner from your neck of the woods is on with us every single week as well. Yeah. So lots of football this time of the year, every day at 3 o'clock on KJR.
Do people eat up college there? Because college doesn't fly down here.
They do. They really do in this city. It's a Washington State town. Washington State's campus is 300 miles away, but most of their alums live in Seattle. So, and we got a lot of Cougars on the air. Actually, there's 3 Cougars on the air, 4 Cougars on the air from 10 until 3 every day before me and Dick take over and the Huskies take the airwaves. So, yeah, I mean, dude, college football in this town is gigantic. Go look at the ratings for the UW-Oregon State game last Saturday in Corvallis. They were gigantic. I think they had like 4 million people watching that game. So I've never understood why college football doesn't take off more in the Bay Area with Cal and Stanford. Maybe it's because both those teams historically stink is the reason why. But you got 2 programs potentially across the bay from each other that if the fans got behind them could be pretty good. I'm just not sure if the fans really give a damn, to be honest with you.
2 last ones. One from the chat here. Jesus keeps asking about, he says, ask Dave about Cam Ward. That's the Wazoo quarterback, right? What do you think of Cam Ward, the junior, right?
I like him at this level. I don't know if I like him in the NFL. He's not very accurate. His greatest asset is his athleticism at Washington State. To be fair, he doesn't have a lot of great talent around him, right? I mean, if you compare Michael Penix and the skill players he's got, what Cam Ward has at Wazoo, it's night and day. The guy has no running game whatsoever. I think their leading rusher has under 300 yards, and it's the middle of November, for crying out loud. So I like Cam Ward as a college guy because he can improvise, but I'm not sure if he's a great fit for the NFL.
All right. The one thing I love about you, Dave, you're always honest. The other day I took the Huskies and I had them on the teaser against Utah, so it didn't burn me. But who was the Husky who downed the ball at the 3 on the pick 6?
Alfonso Tupatala against Utah.
And what did you were watching that live? Were you in the stadium?
You know what, man? I could not believe it when it happened. Thank God they got the very next play.
Right.
It's like 9 minutes of clock time off the clock, and it got the Huskies an extra couple of points. But yes, it did not take it for State after that. Alfonso Tupatala sat out the game. They say it was because of an injury, but you never know, right? Yeah, thank God the Huskies won. If not, that guy's getting barbecued right now.
Oh my God, yeah, seriously. Because in college, that's your whole freaking season. All right, Dave, give me your prediction on Thursday. Oh, hey, well, actually, before I get your prediction, give me your thoughts on Brock Purdy, man. He's like number 1 in the NFL in almost every category. Do you believe in Brock Purdy? Because Dave, I'll tell you, most people down here do, but there's still a lot of people that don't. Do we lose Dave? There we go. We got him back.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, yeah, I was going to say Brock Purdy. I mean, not everybody down here believes in Brock Purdy. I'm a believer and have been since the beginning. Give me your kind of national perspective on Purdy and what he's done in a Niner uniform. Are you a believer?
Well, here's what I think. Can I swear on this broadcast?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I think 49er fans that whine about Brock Purdy should shut the fuck up. How's that sound? Okay. Kidding me? Are you kidding me? Your guy found this dude in the 7th round. He's winning the amount of games he's winning, and you're bitching about it. I mean, good God. Do you know how much you can do with Brock Purdy's salary that you otherwise could not do if you were paying a quarterback $25 million a year? I mean, guys, we're paying Gino Smith $25 million. I'd rather have Brock Purdy making nothing than Gino Smith making $25 million. The difference with Brock Purdy is this, and this is what I love about what the Niners did with him. It kind of reminds me of when Russell Wilson came into the NFL. I'm not going to compare Brock Purdy to Russell Wilson. That's crazy.
Right. No. Okay.
But look at the offensive line that he inherited. Look at the skill players. Look at the defense. Look at the running game that he's got. When Russell Wilson showed up, they had the 2nd highest paid offensive line in football. They had Marshawn Lynch. They had Doug Baldwin. They had Golden Tate. They had Sidney Rice, and the best defense in the league. Russell Wilson was not asked to do everything because he didn't have to do everything. So the fact that Brock Purdy was brought in and everything else was already done for him is phenomenal. This is when the Niners should win a championship, when your quarterback's making nothing and the rest of the team is ready-made for a Lombardi. So I think Niner fans should shut the fuck up. That bitch about Brock Purdy. You don't know how good you have it. For God's sakes, quit your whining.
Green Glass Full says, I love this dude. LOL. Dave, we'll let you go. Happy Thanksgiving to you and the missus. Hey, what is your favorite Thanksgiving side dish? Are you a white meat turkey, dark meat turkey, and what are you eating on the side at the Mahler household?
I'm white meat all the way, and I'll tell you what, my mother-in-law makes the most fantastic cream corn you've ever had in your life.
Ooh.
There's no Thanksgiving dinner that is complete without my mother-in-law's cream corn. It is unfreaking amazing. I might have to send you some, man, and let you try it. Once you have my mother-in-law's cream corn, you'll never go back. I promise you.
And what's the gathering going to be? You, your wife, how many people at the Mahler clan?
Well, we're going to my wife's cousin's house. She lives in Redondo, right on Puget Sound. I live in Des Moines, about 2 miles north of her, so it's not a hard drive. We're going to pick up my mom. We're going to bring her down to Thanksgiving with us. I have about 25, 30 people at my wife's cousin's house in Redondo Beach, and have some fun, fatten our bellies up, and then hopefully watch the Seahawks beat the Niners on Thursday night. But I don't think it's going to happen. If I had a gun to my head, I'd say the Niners win this thing, probably a 27-13 type of game for San Francisco.
Wow. And if Dave's saying 27-13, that's probably more like 37-13. Hey, Dave, you're the best, man. We love you. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for jumping on. I know it's last second. Your schedule's tight. You're in the car, but I appreciate the support, and we'll do it again soon, brother. Peace.
Hi, boys. Happy Thanksgiving. Go Hawks.
There you go. The great Dave Softy Mahler. He's fantastic. He is absolutely fantastic. Always high energy. Go check him out on the iHeart KJR radio. Does a phenomenal job. The Softy and Dick Show, ladies and gentlemen. We get this one from John Berg. Softy looks like Matt Mayoko after a couple of Red Bulls. Yeah, they did have a little bit of, now that Softy's dropped some LBs, he's got a little bit of Mayoko. Someone said that is Mayoko. No, it's not Mayoko. Mayoko would never swear like Dave. Dave swears with authority. We have this one here from Spark Northern. He says, are you with Gary flying the private jet up to PNW, hanging out with Dave? Or are you with Larry back in the East Bay, dropping off Kev at his tutor's house and to work on his algebra? Yes, thank you. Our promo from the Super Bowl. Somebody remembers that fondly. Dave made a lot of good points there. It's going to be some good stuff for sure on Thanksgiving. All right. Hey, thanks to everybody who joined us today. I'm off to Santa Clara for 49er practice. So Niners practice today. Shanahan talks, Wilkes talks, Purdy talks, practice later today. I believe Grant Cohn and I are going to stream later tonight. Looking forward to that if we can coordinate that. But let's thank our sponsors. Bottom of the screen there, Marin Auto Glass, 415-883-3030, marinautoglass.com. If you shatter a windshield, you need to check out Marin Auto Glass. They'll come right out to where you're at, pop out the old one, glaze in the new one, and you're going to love Marin Auto Glass. And unfortunately, more people than ever are getting windshields shattered in the Bay Area. It's just kind of a sign of the times. So Marin Auto Glass, you're looking for that one-stop shop to, help you out in a real crisis. I mean, literally, I was doing a ESPN show with John Lund on a Sunday night, parked the car on Broadway Street in the city, came out. There was like 6 bullet holes in the windshield. The bullets are literally sitting in my driver's side seat on the seat itself and nobody even took anything. They just shot out the windshield. I'm sitting there going, what the hell am I going to do? I call Marin Auto Glass. I give them the make of the car, the size, all the VIN number. They get the right windshield, come right over, pop out the old one, sweep away all the glass, pop in the new one, glaze it all in. One-stop shop, very quick, very convenient, very easy. Check out marinautoglass.com. New York style Italian sausage. Nothing goes better with your Thanksgiving stuffing than some New York style Italian sausage. Seriously, cook it lightly, and then what you do is you crumble it up and you just put it in the stuffing. People don't expect Italian sausage in the stuffing, but you get to me, it's perfect with the mild. You can go spicy if you want, but it's a little bit stronger taste profile. But yeah, if you go, a little Italian mild in the stuffing, people will look around and be like, wow, this stuffing is absolutely amazing. Why is it so amazing? Well, it's the New York style Italian sausage. Thanks to them as well. And of course, the title sponsor of the KRueg Show, Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in both spots. Check them out. They're open from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out, and they do run out. So Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue you're going to find. Go get the brisket chili. Say hi to Damon, say hi to Mary, and tell them the KRueg sent you. It's all good, though. The pulled pork is amazing. The barbecue chicken is amazing. It's all really good. We got this question in the chat. Italian sausage in the stuffing? Why is this ever been done before? I think you mean, why hasn't this ever been done before? All I got to say is it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Now you can do it and you can leave it in chunks, or you can cook it up and make it, kind of blend it in, but it is absolutely amazing in the stuffing. So I love stuffing on Thanksgiving, and you got to go with the cranberries, got to go with the onions, Got to go with the celery. Got to go with the sage. Maybe a little thyme. I like sourdough, but some people like other kinds of breads. The sourdough stuffing to me with the cranberries inside, and you just throw in a little bit of that Italian sausage, and you can get it in the rolls, so you don't have to cook the sausages and then slice it up and that, or squeeze it out of the casing. You can buy it in the sauce in the rolls, and you just cook it in a frying pan. Lightly cook it. You don't want to overcook it; then it'll be dry inside your stuffing. You lightly cook it. You put it in your stuffing mix. People will sit there and go, "Wow, wow, this is freaking amazing." So yes, check out the stuffing. Okay. We've got people commenting here about the stream later today. Check that out. J49 says, "Gangster Larry, getting your windows shot out." Yeah, great. I'm glad I've got more street cred now that I've had my windows shot out. Haruku Atoki says they thought that was Lund's car. He was a player when he was single and made enemies. Yeah, that's it, John. That's it. I should have said that. I should have said that to John. John, this is one of your ex-girlfriends. I know it. You left her high and dry. Now she thinks this is your car and she's shooting at your windshield. I'll mention that to him. Yeah, John, remember when my windshield got shot out after our ESPN Sunday night show? Yeah, people on my stream claimed it was your ex-girlfriend. We've got this one from Always Drip 805. Good to see you, Always Drip. He says, you help out your wife cook on Thanksgiving, Larry? Now that's a man. Well, you know what? This year we're actually going to the in-laws. So my father-in-law, my wife's father will be doing the bird. Sometimes they go deep fried turkey, which, by the way, that sounded awful to me when I first heard it. And I thought, oh, it's going to be oily. It's going to be, totally different flavor, kind of a fried flavor. A deep fried turkey is absolutely amazing. Now, if you haven't done it before, make sure you read up on how to do it. I'd go to YouTube and look at, a bunch of people doing it. You don't want to put it in frozen. That's number one. Okay. You don't want to drop it in. You want to slowly drop it into the vat of oil. And obviously you don't put any stuffing inside, and the beautiful part, why is it so amazing? Well, because turkey, when you cook it, sometimes it's like dry on the outside. People will literally wrap the breast in foil sometimes after a few hours, so the white meat, breast meat on the outside doesn't get too dry, because it takes a while to cook the inside. So it's difficult. If you're a cook, anybody who's ever cooked knows that cooking a turkey is not necessarily the easiest thing to do, because you got to estimate, and nobody wants a dry turkey, and you don't want a raw turkey either. So it's not one of those things where, you cook a steak and it's a little underdone. Who cares? So it's a little, you put it on there for a couple more minutes, whatever. But man, you make a turkey and you can ruin it multiple ways. So all I would say is, on the deep fried, the oils, is cooked inside through the cavity. So the turkey cooks evenly from the inside to the outside. So it's just perfect across the board. I mean, it's like, there's not like pink sections and kind of drier sections. It all cooks the exact same. And it's just fantastic. And if it's done the right way, it's not oily at all. It's absolutely freaking amazing. So, but once again, somebody say Chef Larry. Once again, you could probably entertain yourself for an hour watching YouTube videos on deep fried turkeys gone wrong. And it's really bad. I mean, it's bad. I mean, you could seriously, you could kill yourself. You could burn down your house. You can cause explosions, massive fires. I mean, you seriously if you're doing the deep fried turkey, keep the pets away, keep the children away. Make sure you really do your homework. Don't put too much oil in there, because then all of a sudden it goes over the top. Now you've got major oil problems. There's all kinds of issues that you can have, but it's great. I mean, if you can do it and you can do it well, it's great. MJ says Larry equals top chef. Thank you. Anyway, let's see. One of the things that I'm going to get into today with Steve Wilks is what does he think about Jair Brown? Because since we last talked on in the post game, Jair Brown is going to step in for Hufanga, and now we know for sure Hufanga's done for the year. So terrible break for Huff. We love Huff, great guy. As I said, I think he's the kind of guy you'd want your daughter to marry. He's just such a solid human being, and he's such a great leader on this team. And he's such a respected player. And unfortunately, he broke down trying to make a tackle in the open field, wide base, and the knee just planted wrong. And you could see he went right to the ground. And it almost looked like an NBA play where somebody breaks your ankles on a crossover or something, and you just get kind of broken down. He just the knee just bent. You could see it, and he just grabbed at it and went to the ground. I'll do it tomorrow, says Hufanga got juked. Yeah, he got juked. And he tried to make a play because that's the kind of player he is. And it's just Loner Incognito says, Huff is great, and I know he really wants to play for his team, so this saddens me. Oh yeah, no, it's a kick to the gut for Huff for his career. Now the good news is, sounds like the meniscus was intact. It's a simple ACL. Guys come back from these all the time. He'll be back, and he might be back just as good as before. So there's no reason to fear for his career. He's going to have a career. This is football, though. You never know, right? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. He's going to be able to bounce back. The question is, how good can Jair Brown play? How raw is Jair Brown? Jair looked great in the Buccaneer game. And I really believe that he could have started on a lot of situations this year if this had been a worse team. So he's going to get thrown into the mix, and I'm going to ask Steve Wilks what he thinks of Jair. We asked him about him last week. The irony is we asked Steve Wilks about Jair last week. And he's like, well, yeah, we were just talking about him and how he's ready to go. And he's looking good in practice and he's getting better and better and better. And then sure enough, the very next game, he gets thrown into the fire. And I thought he played amazing. I mean, he had a pick. He made a couple really, really great plays. And then you talk to him afterwards, and the kid is just solid, just absolutely solid. And I can see why they loved him. That was a great draft pick. I mean, that's going to go down. I mean, I'm willing to say it right now. I know you guys haven't seen him, and a lot of people would say, well, man, Krueger, you're putting the cart before the horse. But I studied these guys in college, and I watched him at Penn State, and this guy was he checked all the boxes. He was on the Bruce Feldman freaks list because he's, he power cleans, tons, and he benches tons, and he lifts tons. I mean, he was one of the Penn State strength and conditioning coach's favorites. I mean, this guy just lived for the workouts and just put up crazy workout numbers. So for that effort, he found his way to the Bruce Feldman freaks list. But then you watch the film and you're like, wait a second, this guy's instinctive. This guy plays the right angles. This guy takes the right angles in the run game. He plays the right angles in the pass game. He's a productive interceptor. He looks natural in the box. He can react to he can play really either spot. I mean, I think he's probably better in the box than he is as a downfield safety, but I mean, the guy's a productive interceptor. So he definitely has a good nose for the ball, but I think he's probably best in the box. Now, does that mean, in some ways, Hufanga going down is the better of the two scenarios between Hufanga and Gibson, because I think, Gibson, the fourth safety is George Odom, and George Odom's an all pro special teamer. But George Odom is not quite the same player from scrimmage. He's more of an elite special teamer. So, you look at Jair Brown and that skill set, I think he's more suited to replace Huff as the strong safety, especially if you play a lot of cover 3 zone and you got Gibson in the deep middle and you're looking for that box safety. In some ways, I think he could be an upgrade from Huff. I think he's more physical against the run. I think he's a little bit stronger against the run than Huff. So I don't think he quite has the instincts to attack the mesh point with such confidence like Hufanga did, especially early in his career. I mean, that was amazing to watch. But a guy like Jair Brown's gonna step up into the hole and just destroy the running back. He's a big hitter, maybe even a bigger hitter than Huff. And I don't know that he quite is the same coverage guy in the deep middle as he is in the box. So in some ways, Huff going down, this is a break for Jair because he really was the number one backup for Huff or for Gibson. And I think it would be far more challenging if Gibson had gone down to ask Huff to ask Jair to play the deep middle in the pass game. I think that would have been a tall ask, but I think he could have done serviceable, but it would have been a tougher deal. I think he's a natural box safety, and I think you will see it in this game. One thing off this Dave Softy Mahler interview that I thought was interesting and something to look for on Thanksgiving night. He mentioned how the backup running back for the Seahawks is really good in the screen game, Zach Charbonnet. And to me, that is one of the questions I'm going to ask Steve Wilks today is about defending Charbonnet and how he looks in the screen game. Because let's be honest, I mean, that's kind of where the Niners have struggled this year to close down that space. And Charbonnet is a big back who runs with conviction. Now he runs upright, so he'll give you a big target, and you got to really hit him. But this guy also runs physically. I mean, Walker's a little bit more of a spin, a guy a little bit more juke, a little bit more speed, a little bit more electricity to his whole style. Charbonnet is a little bit more keep the shoulders squared. But man, you give Charbonnet 3-yard head start, and nobody wants to touch this guy. I mean, he's big and physical. He's a downhill runner, runs with a lot of power. So, and I'm eager to see, can the Niners defend Charbonnet in the screen game? I think that's going to be a major part of this game. And I expect the Niners to win this game. Dave expects the Niners to win this game. But we'll see. We'll see. I felt good about this game today. Really since the schedule came out. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they got Seattle sandwiched around a Philly game. I don't fear Seattle anymore. I think the Niners have conquered that demon. They used to lose to Russell Wilson all the time. Now they have their own Russell Wilson and Brock Purdy. And I expect the Niners to go up there and play well and win. Always Drip says, will you be asking Kyle Shanahan questions today with the media, Larry? Yes, I will. Always Drip, do you have one for me? You got a question you want asked? If so, throw it in here, and I'll if it's solid, I'll go with it. We got this one saying, what's good says Russ owned us, not Seattle. I mean, Seattle is a tough place to play. I'm not saying it's not, but Russell was incredible. I mean, Russell in a lot of ways. Purdy does remind me a lot of Russell in that he's got a little bit more mobility and escapability. He runs that short game really, really well. And he's a great competitor. How many times did Russell, it seemed like, just burn the Niners with either holding the ball for 10 seconds and breaking down their whole D or running for a first down in the second half to ice the game? So, I mean, it's and I'll say this, I interviewed Russell once and really good guy. And I really enjoyed talking to him. He's just a solid guy through and through. Of course, he's now in Denver. And of course, we're going to get Gino Smith, and it sounds like Gino at less than 100%. Gino, Gino is good, but Gino's not great. And I think this year he kind of came back to earth a little bit. Mark Lopez says, Larry, I get married Saturday. Any chance I can get my man Larry in attendance? Are you serious, Mark? You want me to show up at your wedding? Where are you getting married, Mark? Is it going to be local? I mean, unless you're going to send me airplane ticket. Jump back in the chat and tell me where it is. If it's the right, if it's a good time, I could stop by. And I'll. I mean, I don't know why I would stop by. But I could, maybe I could bring Kev. Maybe we could stream. Can we stream from the reception? We're here at Mark Lopez's reception. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want everybody to know Mark Lopez remains married. We'll just have updates every 15 minutes. Mark and his bride have yet to fight. Mark Lopez remains married. All right. Let's see down here in the chat if we got this one. Michael Nobriga. Larry asked Kyle if Danny Gray will get a chance to play this week. I could go with that. I really want to see Danny Gray. I did suggest he's going to think I'm like Danny Gray's nephew or something because or best buddy or something because I asked him last week about Danny Gray. He's like, "Yeah, are you going to inject more speed onto the field?" He's like, "You got any ideas?" I'm like, "Well, how about Danny Gray?" And he's like, "Well, that's one guy." The irony of that is he's like, "Yeah, that's just one guy. I mean, that's just one guy." And then he kind of scoffed at my question. And then what did he do? He took Oliver off the field, who runs in the 4.6s, and he put Ambry Thomas on the field. He runs 4.4 flat. He literally took my idea and then did it, and then didn't credit me. Damn that, Kyle. Always drip 805. I'm just curious about Jason Verrett. Is he going to get signed the way that Kyle Shanahan was open to it, and Jason Verrett still isn't signed? Is it possible that Verrett didn't pass the physical? That would be my question. I guarantee you the Verrett question, whether it's that coming from me or somebody else, that one will get asked today. Someone's going to follow up with what's the status of Verrett, because he kind of put that out there last week that Verrett, that they would like to sign Verrett. But, we all know Verrett's story. He's had an Achilles. He's had an ACL. Wait a second. Batman 29 says he said Fairfield. Fairfield's not that far. I might be able to do. He says at the Vizier Winery. What time? What time, Mark? What time on Saturday? Give me a time and I can put on a suit and get up there. No heckling though, right? Clarsard says Krueger the Wedding Crasher. Yeah. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. Is Wedding Crashers. I mean, you motorboating son of a gun, you. Oh, you're a sailor. Good man. I mean, is it to me the movie drops from that movie, Wedding Crashers, maybe the greatest of all time. Maybe the absolute greatest of all time. I could watch that movie a million times just for the drop. MJ says Larry needs to officiate the wedding. Oh, my God. Bozzy Mian, who sometimes agrees, sometimes disagrees with me, says Larry's the best content creator by far. Niners content creator by far. Wow. Thank you, Bozzy Mian. There's a lot of good ones out there. I think Jesse does a nice job. Grant does a nice job. Vish does a nice job. All the guys, Dave obviously does a nice job. And there's several out there that do a nice job. My man Breezy, big fan of Breezy. Croc, there's a lot of good ones for sure, and we try to bring you many of them right here on the channel. Yeah, here we go. John Berg says Larry's going to bring some pig in a pickle as the wedding gift. Yeah, I know you guys have a caterer, but you know what? I brought my own caterer. This is now brought to you by Pig in a Pickle. I just get the death stare from the bride's parents. They're just staring me down. You brought barbecue to our little daughter's wedding day. Get out of here. Somebody says Wayne Breezy. I got to call Breezy. Breezy and I haven't hooked up in a while. And the reason for it, by the way, Breezy and I used to go to Wednesdays at 2:00, but Wednesdays at 2:00 is right in the middle of Niner Media Day. So I'm always in Santa Clara Wednesdays at 2:00. So I got to call Breezy and see if we can rekindle that maybe on a different day. Yeah, MJ. This wedding is sponsored by Pig in a Pickle. Check them out in Emeryville, Corte Madera. I get up to do a speech and check out New York style Italian sausage. In all the best grocery stores all throughout Northern California. Someone says Chapman. My man Chapman has moved to the Bay, I believe. I haven't done something with John in a while. Maybe I retweet him from time to time. I think I might have retweeted him today or yesterday. I got to call him. Is he teaching school here? I know he was teaching school in Texas. But man, Johnny's out here on the West Coast now. John Berg says, Larry, if you aren't doing anything on Friday and you don't make it to the wedding, you're fucking lazy. You're fucking lazy, Larry. I love you, boy, but you're fucking lazy. The great Bill Urbanek. I miss him. I miss him greatly. All right, that is going to do it for us. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to New York Style Italian Sausage. Thanks to Pig in a Pickle. Thanks to Marin Auto Glass. Thanks to all of you guys as well. And then, of course, thanks to Underdog Fantasy and Mojo Fantasy. Check that link in the description for both those. Click the link in the description. Use the promo code KRueg, KRueg, and they will match you on your first $100. Mark says, my bad, the wedding reception is on Sunday. Well, normally I'd say I'll be at the Niner game on Sunday, but I could be free on Sunday. You never know. Mark, if you follow me on Twitter at SportsLarryK, DM me, and we'll see. We'll see. I can't promise. It'll be one of those things. I'll mention it to my wife. She'll either say, oh, that's great, you should do that, or which means she's got other things going on and doesn't want me around, or she'll be like, what? No, you're not doing that. And in that case, I'm probably not doing that. And that's how, for you younger people in the chat, that's how a wedding, that's how a marriage works. Your wife says, hell no, you're not doing that. You got to know what battles to fight. You might lose the battle, but you got to win the war. You got to think long term. But BR Baresh Patel says, after the party, Larry chugging the kegs, baby. Oh, yeah. By the way, everybody join us at Pig in a Pickle on December 17th, I believe. It's the Niner Cardinal game. We're going to be at Pig in a Pickle in Corte Madera from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And we're just going to be, having some barbecue and watching the game, drinking a few beers, hanging out at Pig in a Pickle, and just meet and greet. I'm going to bring Kev, bring some of my family, maybe some of my buddies, and all of you guys are invited. Please join me on December 17th, Sunday. It's a road game. So it's Niners Cardinals on the road from Arizona. I think it's a 1:00 start. And we're going to go to Pig in a Pickle and have some barbecue and watch the game and drink some beers and hang out. So would love to meet all of you guys if you're locals. I know some of you guys are in other states, other parts of the country, so on and so forth, maybe even other countries. So I understand if you can't make it. But if you're in Northern California and you like barbecue and you want to stop by and have a beer with us, we'd love to see you at Pig in a Pickle on December the 17th, Niners Cardinals from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. We got this one, too, from 49er Fan North. You're killing me, Larry. Well done. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Killing you in a good way, hopefully. Anyway, man, appreciate everybody. Green glass full. Wouldn't be a stream if somebody didn't just drop a Pig in a Pickle. You got to love Pig in a Pickle. The title sponsor of the KRueg Show. Also coming up, we should mention I can't make it official just yet. I can't tell you all the details, but we have a brand new sponsor of significance joining us shortly, and we're really proud of that. And we're really excited for a new long-term agreement with a major company that is going to be sponsoring the KRueg Show. So, very cool. Very cool stuff, and I'm really excited about that. And the growth of the channel has been absolutely amazing. Kev has done an incredible job. By the way, tomorrow, Kev and I will do our Wednesday night call-in show, so join us tomorrow night. Thanks to everybody who helped us get to 28,000 subs. We're now at 28,082. We just crested the 28,000 hill, 2 days ago? So thank you to everybody. We've had almost 1.5 million views of our content in the last 28 days. We've had almost 200,000 watch time hours of Krug Show material in the last 28 days alone. So the channel is absolutely blowing up. I just want to thank all you guys. We got this one. Eric Hernandez says Kevin is the MVP of this show. Yeah, there's no doubt. Kev's incredible. Does great stuff. Puts out videos. Put out 3 or 4 more today. So check that out. So John Berg says, no, Larry, thank you for the great content. Well, man, I'll say this. Did you guys enjoy Dave today? Dave's cool. Dave's fun. I mean, Dave and I, always yell and scream at each other. And for a while, people would be like, you hate Softy, and Softy hates you. And it's like, dude, come on, seriously. Dave gave me a tour of his man cave, and he's got like Star Wars helmets and action figures. And, that's the kind of guy Dave is. I'm not saying that, that I'm not judging it. I'm just saying we're nobody's mad at anybody. It's all a bit, and it was all a radio bit. J49 says, Pig in a Pickle made you, Larry. Yes, they did. The great Damon Stainbrook, the owner of Pig in a Pickle, the title sponsor of the Krug Show, is absolutely one of my favorite people in the world. And their restaurant is amazing. So, but yeah, Eric Hernandez, Kev is the MVP of the show. A lot of love for Kev. So, Ryan Crowley says, I'm going to stop by tomorrow. Good deal. Go, hit Pig in a Pickle tomorrow. Overrated says 30,000 before the end of the year. We'd love to get to 30,000 before Super Bowl Sunday. That's the goal, 30,000 by Super Bowl Sunday. So I'm loving the channel. I'm having tons of fun with it. I hope you guys are enjoying the content as well. I'm going to Ninerland right now. We'll have a bunch of good Niner content from later today. I'll be asking questions to Brock, to Shanahan, to Wilkes. CJ Max says you raised a good one, Larry. Yeah, no, Kev's great. And I joked with him yesterday. Dave Muschek says lots to be thankful for. Go Krug and Kev. No doubt. Lots to be thankful for. And thankful for all you guys for supporting this channel and giving me this really second career. I mean, I enjoyed 25 years on the radio. And I jumped over to YouTube in March of 2022 when I got downsized at KMBR. And here we are, what is it? That was March of 2022. It's now November of 2023. We're coming up on 2 years. And, I'm doing better than I ever have. And I'm having more fun than I ever have. And it's just a great avenue. I've always loved the idea of bringing the show on YouTube. I suggested to KMBR years ago that they, jump on YouTube. They only just recently did it. So I'm not sure why. I always was given excuses, but hey, you know what? You guys all win, right? When there's more content out there for the audience wins. So Loner Incognito says, just subbed. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. We're at 28,083 subs right now. So hit like. If you hit like, that helps more people find the shows. If you hit subscribe and you click that notification bell every time we go live, you'll get a little notification that we're going live. And it's been a lot of fun. I really love doing this stuff. Mark Graves has been with us since the beginning. Mark, good to see you. He's a made man here. He says, their loss is our gain, Larry, all day. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you. We got to drop. Adrian Vizcaya says, who listens to KMBR still? Oh, my God. Judging by the ratings, not a lot. But, hey, you know what? Good luck to Adam Copeland and Tommy T and all those guys over there because those guys are my friends. Chris says, Sac State legend, thanks for continuing to deliver great content. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, Chris. And Chris Barber drops up. My G, Larry. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm off to Santa Clara. Have a great rest of your day. This is the big media day. They're going to kind of group everything from 2 days into one. So I'll be there for several hours in Santa Clara. And then tonight, hopefully me and Grant, I believe in the evening, will stream on both channels. Check that out later today. And then tomorrow night, Kev's going to be by. Thanksgiving, we got the game. And then we'll do a post-game show. I'm going to be doing it for my in-laws. Should be cool. I'm really looking forward to that. Kev will be there. JD is going to be covering the game for 95.7 The Game. So he will be up in Seattle. We're going to check in with JD after he does his radio obligations. Rye, Danny, Baller, should be a lot of fun. Your chats. Maybe we might even throw a video stream, a link in there. And look forward to talking about a Niner victory on Thanksgiving. How great would it be to just have a perfect Thanksgiving day, eat a ton of great food, and watch the Niners win by like 3 touchdowns in Seattle? I can see it. Picture it, and it will become reality. Ready, Set, Rush. This great show as always, Larry. Thank you, bro. Appreciate all of you guys. One more here. Here we go. Soul Certified. Glad you came to YouTube, Larry. It's great content. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. John Berg taking another shot at KBR. We don't need to take shots at KBR. But, we do probably have a bigger audience than they do at this point. But you know what? It's just the way life is. This is where it isn't about KBR. It's about the migration of the audience away from terrestrial radio and into the YouTube space. And it's not being done. It's being done for lots of reasons. Some of them are content based. A lot of them are just about technology and just kind of the ever changing world that we live in. So it's not necessarily blame game. It's just kind of the migration of the way things have gone in this space or in media space. Media is changing and it's moving fast, and you got to change with it. So anyway, thanks to everybody. Have a great day and take care. Peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you won't